We actually didn't know who our clients would be. So there were a lot of questions and actually no answers. We put two prices, $80 and $100. We were just trying not to close the brand and trying to survive. It was completely irrelevant and it was a waste of time. How dared we dream big? Hi everyone, this is Katya and welcome to my channel Katya Be Kind. Today I'm wearing this weird thing on my hair, so don't judge me and just please know that I'm not crazy. I didn't like the way my front hair looked today and I clipped them with the accessories of my daughters, and as they are 3 and 6 years old, they are interested mainly in hearts, unicorns and all this similar stuff, so just know that I am normal. Today I wanted to criticize ourselves a little bit and talk about the mistakes that we made on the first year of our business. I know that everyone makes mistakes and I'm okay with that. It's not like that I wouldn't like us to make any mistakes. I think that they are mistakes when you make them. Actually, they are your growth points, and if you're smart enough, you will be able to grow. I would put this in the order of the marketing piece because I think that we had a lot of mistakes, all sides. We could start with the product, but I would start with the most crucial thing for us, which is people and our clients, because this is what determines everything else, and it determines the strategy of the business and the product line and everything else. So the main mistake that we made that time, it was lack of expertise about our clients. So we actually didn't know who our clients would be. We put the client portrait, which would be like a common one among the brands of that time, like women from 18 to 45 who have high education. They like to travel, they like to collect things, they like to shop, they use a lot of smartphones, and they like to surf the internet and probably Pinterest, etc., in order to find the things that would catch the eye, and they would like to shop them. But all the decisions that we made at that time just made me realize, like me of this year, that we had nothing to do with our target audience and that it had nothing to do with any research. We were just trying out different things that we would believe that they would work, but it was based on nothing actually. So we didn't know who our clients were, what they needed, and why. For example, we made children's clothes just because we believed that everyone had children and that people, like in Russia there were a lot of children. There was like a lack of needed products and knitwear on the whole, like for children, and that we would do some cute objects, some cute sweaters and cardigans that every parent would love to buy for his or her daughter or son. But actually, years later, we realized that our actual target audience, these women that we were describing all this time, they hardly had children of the age that we were offering the products of. And it was discovery for us. We never thought that it could be possible because everyone has kids, like here and there all the time, news about like how many children are being born, etc. But I was realizing, like a little step by step like this, that oh, this my friends don't have kids and I don't have kids, so probably it's somehow connected with this thing that no one buys like kids cardigans within our brand. But I wouldn't spoiler this topic because I would love to make one of the episodes about our kids line, which was extremely unsuccessful. This is a different story, but still the lack of knowledge about our people, our clients that we longed for, this determined the rest of mistakes to me. For example, in terms of product, we made this weird range of things, including as I told, women's cardigans, kids' cardigans, men's pants, and women's skirts. So there was no consistency, and actually we didn't build a product line. We just collected things that we thought that people would like, but we never studied this if the client has this need for why would men buy pants separately within our brand, or why would women want to wear some skirts of our design with our cardigan. So there were a lot of questions and actually no answers, and I know that we made a lot of decisions based on intuition or some knowledge which was like deep inside. The market actually showed us that we were right when we presented these knitwear products. It took us years to realize that that was what we should do, that we should be focusing on this knitwear, on something that we are good at, on something that we have chosen as core products. So at that time we just wanted to do anything and nothing specifically, so it was the first thing that actually comes up in my mind when I think about the mistakes. The next thing is pricing. And in terms of pricing, the main mistake was undervaluing the product and building this gap between the product's value and the way it is presented to the public and the way it is valued, like in terms of money and in terms of pricing, because we put two prices. We put $80 for a basic cardigan and $100 on this rom sweater. And actually both were extremely time demanding in terms of production, and there was like no sense in selling them this cheap, because when you enter the market you should realize which products other brands sell and which quality they have and how they position themselves, because 100% wool cardigan, handmade, like knitted with love and care, cannot be worth the same price as like a basic sweater made in China of acrylic yarns, etc. So we little did we know about this. So we didn't make any comparison. We didn't know about mapping that time. So we didn't understand how it worked. And the first time we were asked the question about positioning was actually years later, when we started to participate in Paris Fashion Week, and our agents in the showroom where we were standing, they asked us if we knew which brands we should be associating with and which brands we should stand together, like in some retail, for example. And we didn't even know that. We didn't think about that. So both the price was way below its quality and the positioning was not decent for this brand and for the product that we created, because we should have studied the market. We should have studied the market and we should have known that some prices should be determined within this comparison. And for example, this lesson we received from our friend. She works in marketing in Mexico, and when we told her that we would be, she actually encouraged us to come to Mexico to start working here with beaded breakfast. And today I'm wearing a beaded breakfast ring. She was like, okay, these are the prices that you have, but you should like enter the market at the same level as you value your product as other brands sell their products. So you should compare that level, and probably if your prices are not high enough, you should put them at the same level in order to be positioning yourself like in the correct manner. So this is what we never did, when we never thought of that before participating in Paris and before actually starting to work more with marketing. So these are the experiences of last years only. As for the place, actually the question of retail presence was always painful for us, because while other brands were opening their stores, we were struggling financially because of our seasonal products. So all the time we had all the orders like in high season, and then in low season we were just trying not to close the brand and trying to survive. So in the first year of brand, we only had a website. It was extremely basic, and it was like landing page. It was coded by my sister, which I appreciate a lot, because when you open something with limited budget, you appreciate all the help that you receive from here and from there. So if it wasn't for her, like I don't know how we would sell the products. And I love her, and I am proud of this. I'm proud of this side, even though it looked like childish and it looked a little basic. So even though, so it's our story, and we should remember that it was just a step on our way. The idea of the website was to present the products, to show the product range. We had such like aspirational piece as our Mensur Gabriel, or like in other stories, or co-stores, or like bigger brands, like really big brands which we loved and which we admired. And we tried so hard to build the website which would look like a little bit more like a decent version of this contemporary fashion website, so that we forgot about the basic things. For example, we didn't have any privacy policy, we didn't have company details, we didn't have a public offer. When I look back now, I don't understand how people were buying from us. Like, where did they get this trust from? So I don't know how it happened. And again, it's a fun fact, but it's something that we started from. So, but actually, this privacy and other things, they were fixed within the first year. So probably this is not that bad. As for promotion, I would name a few things, including irrelevant shootings. For example, our first shooting was made on a kid. It was my niece Sophia. She had 3 years old, and we thought that probably it would come out like as a sweet, like bright imaginary, which would attract a lot of attention. And I remember Alexei telling me that don't worry, babies and dogs, they get as much attention as possible, so just don't worry. Now I realize that we were just trying to get the most possible reach without realizing who our target audience was. So it was just chasing this reach without direction. So we didn't get it where we were going. So we filmed babies reading poems in our sweaters, because we thought that probably it would look nice and it would look like noble, and that people would pay attention. We chose the incorrect platforms for promotion. For example, we have this huge social network in Russia which is called Vkontakte, and those years it was like something like Facebook with its groups where you gain followers depending on what you do, or for example, movies, admirers, or whatever. And we started a group about named after our brand, but about this Soviet or Russian style and traditions and something. And instead of selling our product, we ended up having a group of like cultural references within Soviet Union and Russia. So it was completely irrelevant, and it was a waste of time, because the people who were subscribed to that group would never ever get to buying like a sweater, or they would never, probably they were not into fashion, even that. But it didn't get to our heads that probably we were doing something wrong, because we thought that the more people would see the sweaters, the better for us. We were so wrong. As for the process, I have an interesting story there, because we never tracked this customer journey at all, because we worked hard instead of building a system. And mainly I was working and doing everything like myself, from transporting yarns between the masters, to getting phone calls from customers, to packing the orders and sending them. We were so ignorant of the basic things. They are not like crucial to us now. For example, delivery services, exporting options, etc. For example, the first order that we received from the abroad was from Kazakhstan. We didn't have any delivery partner back then, and we discussed between each other like how we should send her the item to this girl. And we ended up suggesting her that we should send this via train, because we had a lot of railway stations in Russia. So trains are very popular in Russia and in Kazakhstan and in the post-Soviet countries. So we thought that probably we should send the box via the train, like with someone who is traveling to Kazakhstan, and that she should come to this train station to collect it. So Now to me it sounds like something weird and something that is not actually possible, because now these processes to us are, we are at a completely different level. But I know that the best thing that we did that time is was actually doing this and never giving up and never being afraid to ask questions and to suggest and to look weird probably. So I appreciate that and I'm grateful to ourselves for that, because otherwise I would not be sitting here and telling all these stories. So yeah, it was not about a purchasing experience. We never thought of that. We thought that probably this experience of a purchase is something for bigger retailers, like, and for bigger nats like Zara, and like I don't know, for someone who has a huge marketing stuff, like a huge marketing team. And but we were like so small that we couldn't afford that. So, and we didn't understand that anything that you do within your within an order, like within a customer's order, is a purchasing experience, and anything that is happening between you and your client is something that you should pay attention to, and that you should always analyze and correct your mistakes and grow bigger. Now it makes me smile, obviously. Final point is physical evidence, which was almost zero, because we didn't have like a real website. So it was just a page, a landing page. We didn't have an office, and it was a huge trauma for me. So I have told this many times. We didn't have any tangible proof of a serious brand, and we had this small brand complex all this time. So we were not able to present ourselves properly and to value our product properly, because we thought of ourselves as of small a small company with huge ambitions, and that we felt this gap between our ambitions and between our present situation at the time. So we thought that probably, how dared we dream about all this? How dared we dream big? But now I think that how right it was to dream big and to think huge. The only thing that we had was a product, and I am extremely grateful to the people who were our first clients, who made our first clients, and who bought the first product that we had, because it was the only thing that we had. And we were so desperate to become this big company, to let people know that we are worth something. And now I'm happy to be telling these stories in a different manner, like with a different feeling of myself, with a different confidence level. And I'm not embarrassed anymore to tell this, because mistakes are part of our journey, and we should be thankful for them, and we should always be able to notice them and to work them through, to because they are something that can make you grow faster and become bigger and stronger. Don't worry about your mistakes, and be kind to yourselves, and thank you for watching. Bye.